All right, everyone, we're getting into the nitty-gritty of interacting with others. We spent a lot of time interacting with ourselves recently, right? So we're going to spend a lot of time now interacting with others. There's a piece here that's about you. There's a piece here about others. And there's a piece here about interacting with others. So this chapter's chapter 10, and it's called Know Thyself and Know Others. Now, as we quickly get into this, baby, first thing you have to do is you have to know yourself, right? Now, we've spent, like I said, the last probably 9 chapters really digging in on you, your money, your life, your mind, your family, your kids, your surroundings, the people. We've spent a significant amount of time really digging into you. Now you need to really know yourself, right? You need to know what are your biggest time wasters? Where do you lack and where do you really succeed? And so we utilize a test called the DISC. The DISC profile test is something that you can use for yourself and for others, by the way. We'll get more into that. It's something that you can use for yourself to really study and evaluate yourself. And the best thing to do is really get somebody who's really good at coaching on the DISC profile. I'm lucky enough to be Abelson certified on the DISC. So I'm offering you a free DISC test. We're going to put the link in here, but it's also in the resources page of the of the book, Truth About Failure. So when you go to the resources page, you'll see a link there. You can take an absolutely free DISC profile test. I encourage you, I implore you, I am pushing you, I am telling you, go take this test. It'll take you 20 minutes. What you want to do it is you want to do it in a very quiet environment. You want to be smart and safe about it. You want to just be able to think and answer honestly. Even, if you feel like you want to answer something else, right? Answer honestly, not what you want to be, but who you are. This is going to really break down the profile test for you. It's going to tell you if you're a D, an I, an S, or a C, which is where this comes from. We'll get more into that here in a second. And it's going to help you understand your profile. You're going to read it. And you're going to go, oh my gosh, 98% of this is on point. And chances are the other 2% are on point as well, but you refuse to admit it, right? So like the bad stuff that it tells you, you're going to go, nah, I can do better than that, right? And when you get into this, there's a section in the test, in the Abelson test, which is the one that we use, that's called the time wasters. And with the time wasters, that's where I as a coach like to focus, because here is where you as a person waste more time than anybody else. And we'll get into that. But let's talk about the DISC profile itself and the different sections with different types of personalities that people carry. And that way you can understand which one you are. And then we'll talk about why it's important to understand which one other people are. And the better you get at this, and the more you study this, by the way, the better you'll be able to determine people's personality traits or DISC profile just by communicating with them, just by talking with them, seeing how they react to things, so forth, so on. So the dominant is the D. People with a D or dominant personality tend to be confident and emphasize accomplished bottom line results. Like, let's get to the point, folks. That is a high D, right? Characteristics are direct, results oriented, firm, strong-willed, and very forceful. Like, all right, what's the point? What's the point? Get to the point. That's the point, right? A high I, which is the influencer. People with an I or influence personalities tend to be more open and emphasize relationships and influence over persuading others. And then characteristics are super outgoing, enthusiastic, optimistic, high-spirited, lively, right? These are the people on stages. These are the people talkative. These are the people that want to know everything about you. These are the people that really interact with other people. They're also the people that love to talk about themselves and love to talk about what's happening. They just love to talk about everything, right? And so that is a high I. Now, we're going to pause here for a second, because what's very interesting is that these DISC profile tests, you don't necessarily are one person. It's very odd that you're all 4 and have an even keel profile, but it is very common to be high at 2 of the items. And so when you're high at 2 of the items, it's a combination kind of profile, and it helps you understand your betterment, your place in a better idea or situation. So like for me, I am a high D. I'm like 99% D, but I'm also like 97% I, right? And we'll go over the next two. I'm like a 7% and a 5%. And so when you take me, I'm very direct, want to get to the point, blah, blah, but I also love to talk and emphasize and create relationships. And I'm super enthusiastic, optimistic, and I don't look at things glass half empty. And so that's my personality. And so this is a great opportunity for you to understand that. All right, moving on. We get to the steady. Steady is people, they're high S's. Steadiness personalities tend to be dependable and emphasize cooperation and sincerity. All right, so characteristics here are very even-tempered. You won't get them high or low. Accommodating, patient, humble, and tactful. They're careful in the way that they approach things. They're humble enough to know where they belong and don't belong in any situation. They're patient. They're understanding. They're accommodating. Don't worry, sir. We can move it over here. We'll take this over here. And that takes a very even-tempered personality, right? So now, the high C, the conscientiousness. People with a C personality tend to emphasize quality, accuracy, expertise, and competency. The characteristics are they're very analytical, spreadsheet folks, right? Love looking at a spreadsheet. Nothing else matters. Show me the numbers. That is a high C. They're very reserved. They don't like the attention, where high I wants to be recognized in front of thousands of people. High C would, like turtle in the shell, like head would just go in, right? Precise, private. They like their life private. This is the person that doesn't post a lot on social media, unlike lunatic me with 4,000 plus Instagram posts, right? And systematic. They understand systems very well. Now, the importance of knowing these four features, not just for yourself, but for others. Let's dig into that, right? How much more effective would you be as a sales manager, leader, manager, pastor, speaker, or even a parent if you could detect which personality group, D, I, S, or C, the person you are talking to is? Think about that for a minute. Knowing others, really truly understanding what others do, and having this mini superpower, right, to understand others so well that you can determine the person's strengths, weaknesses, and major personality traits in one conversation. And if you're able to do this, if you're able to do that, the more the other person can feel at peace with you, they're comfortable with you, the better chances you have of getting a deal with them or hiring them. Now let's pause for a second, right? I don't know why I did the high-pitched pause, but let's, all right? Believe this. If you can work with somebody at a high level in that fashion, and you can understand them at a high level in that fashion, if they are a high S or high C, and you're a high D or high I, and you're trying to treat them the way that you like to be treated, that is not going to work. So we're going to use something called the mirroring technique. Now, if you simplify the mirroring technique to the lowest form of simplification, it's literally being the other person or doing your best to comply with the other person's style and type in order to make them feel comfortable. We're sitting at a table together and you lean forward and put your arms on the table, I will lean forward and put my arms on the table. If you lean back and cross your arms, I will lean back and cross my arms and hold them up. If you want coffee, I'm going to drink coffee or tea with you. If you drink water, I'm going to drink water with you. I am going to mirror you as much as possible so that you feel comfortable with who I am. Because if I am the me that comes in barking, this is what we got to do, this is how we're going to do it, and blah, 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 and you are now that person, you need to know more. You need to be analytical. And you need to understand, I need to see the numbers. Where's the spreadsheet at? And I don't provide any of that to you because that's not important to me. Look how great I am. And you are not going to accept that. So being able to mirror somebody well enough. And when you get very good at this, you get very good at doing it over the phone. You get very good at listening to somebody speak on the phone, understanding their tone of voice, their personality, and you get to become the mirror in this situation, and you have better conversations with them. And the benefits of utilizing the understanding of the DISC results in a mirroring technique. Let's think about it. Like it says here, your business will do much better if you know which salesperson or employee to use to interact with each client. Your business will do much better if you hire the right people for the right positions. That's where we go, knowing yourself and knowing others, right? Knowing yourself so you know where your wins and losses are going to be, and knowing others so you know their wins and losses. We put some great examples in there, like, you know, if somebody comes in with an automobile and they need to change the alternator, right? The high D mechanic is going to come in and go, "Just going to change the alternator. Don't worry about it. It's going to take 2 hours. We'll see you later," right? Where the high, maybe S, will come in and go, "Hey, excuse me, sir, ma'am, we have to change the alternator. Here's the reason why. This is a problem that I think it is. This is why it's happening," so forth and so on, right? Now, if you could match the right person to the right kind of client, then that's going to be a big win, right? Because if I'm a high D and you come out as a high D and you say, "Hey, we're just going to change the alternator, should be ready in 2 hours." I just wanted to know the bottom line anyway. Great. Sounds good. Thank you for finding that out. Call me in 2 hours. I'll be by to pick up my car. But if I'm a high C, high S, I need to know more information, maybe high S, super analytical, I want to know more. And you come in and give me that statement, and I'm going to go, "Okay, but why? Why did the alternator go bad?" And if you have a high D salesperson or high D mechanic talking to me, that's going to frustrate that person unless they know how to mirror. And then they'll take a step back and they will mirror that client, and they will do a great job at explaining to them why the alternator went bad and why it needs to be replaced. That also helps you when you have people in positions that they shouldn't be in. Imagine having a marketing director that should not be a marketing director, that should absolutely be in accounting for some reason, right? By the way, marketing personalities and accounting personalities completely different, right? And so imagine having an accounting person, somebody that should absolutely be in accounting, running or operating in the marketing department. They won't be happy. You won't be happy with their results. They won't feel like they fit in. You're going to think they don't fit in. You're going to fire them instead of saying, "You know what, I think because based on your personality, who you are, and what I understand this to be best, I think you would be a better fit in this department." And if you're able to do that at a high level, you're going to see huge advancements in your business. Not only that, throughout the hiring process and working and being able to hire the right people for the right spot in your job, in your business, in your career, that's going to be a game changer for you too. So from the book, to sum this up, know thyself, who you are, know others and who they are. Employ the mirroring technique, be authentic in who you are, be unstoppable. Now, as much as I want to end there, I got to talk about being authentic. In this mirroring technique and being able to have the superpower of understanding people's personalities and mirror them, I'm not telling you to be a different person. Be authentic in who you are. Just tone it down a little bit and try to match them where they are. Trust me, it's going to help your business. You will be unstoppable if you're capable of reading and interacting with people. Because most sales jobs is a people business. You have to get people to buy your shit. And so if that's what you're trying to do, it is your job to connect with those people. Hope this helps.